I come from a group of people that has been called the conspiracy theorists, or the conspiracists, or the conspiracy folks, or the lunatics. I don't know. And I've been lumped in with them, and okay. And I would rather be with people who have a fecund, fertile, sometimes overactive imagination that maybe sees evil perhaps a tad too much. Maybe is a bit, as you would say, paranoid. I'd rather be with that group than what I see as most people in America are today. These are torpid people who are sloth-like, who think that Fox News or Newsmax or whatever is the be-all and end-all, or CNN for that matter, of informational systems. Since the beginning of time, there has been an overarching group of people who want to control everything. When mankind broke up into tribes, there was somebody who came along and said, I want to be in charge of all the tribes. It's just a part of perhaps our pathology. I don't know what you want to call it. And there are people who do not necessarily want merely to be in charge of things, but they want to control. But to control who gets in and who gets out. We use the word, especially with what's going on in Israel right now, the word genocide and ethnic cleansing and murder and liquidation and the elimination of huge swaths of humanity. And that's who we are. It's what we're using now. But mankind does this. And this is well before Hitler. And since the beginning of time, there are folks who want to limit you, and they want to put you in some form of prison. Maybe not a physical prison, but an intellectual prison. They want you to shut up. They don't want you to think. They want you to do what they say. They want you to be pliant and fearful and scary, and they want you to take all of their drugs and vaccines and medications and surgeries. They want you to live here. They want you to use this. They want you not to read this. Don't think this. Don't say this. Don't hang around these people. Don't question elections. Don't question the efficacy of medicine. Don't question the efficacy or the safety of vaccines, or don't ever use the term medical tyranny or biomedical martial law. Do not. We want you controlled. We want you controlled. And more than anything, we want you out. We don't want you. And while you may not want to use the word depopulation, which is a bit extreme, because that means there are ways to do it. There are ways to limit the bio load, so to speak, of the people who are getting in the way and ruining the world and using up all the resources. And not only that, there's a whole bunch of people out there in the world who are just mean and evil, and they just don't like you. And there are other people who are even worse. These are the people who really are, they're kind of like an Austin Powers, kind of like a diabolical type that have always wanted to somehow crush and shelve and limit and marginalize and remove and perhaps imprison ideologically or actually groups of people. But the only thing that they didn't have, the reason that they didn't do it wasn't because they were somehow given to morality. It's because science and technology didn't allow them to do it. There are things right now that are going on that are so mind-blowing in terms of the configuration and the reconfiguration and the retooling and the recalibration of the internal processes of your body, not only physiologically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Oh. We just figured a way for everybody to come forward and to submit to mass inoculation. Now, let me just say something. I am not, dare I say, ever going to be put into that Bobby Kennedy school of vax denial. Oh, no, no, no. I'm talking about something which is even more frightening. You look at the vaccine. I'm not even talking about the vaccines. Listen, do you want to live in a world of smallpox, polio, rabies, if you're an animal? No. Do you think Louis Pasteur was part of a conspiracy theory? No. So if you have a problem with vaccinology, if epidemiology, if immunization, if you think it doesn't work, or you're a kind of a biomedical flat earther, I've got no time for you. I'm not there. That's not what I focus on. What I'm focusing on is how we get people to look the other way. And the only thing that has been keeping these people away from you throughout the years has been the limitations of technology. Technology. These folks would have loved to have done all kinds of wild and terrible things, except that it couldn't because the technology wasn't there. Artificial general intelligence is a unique situation. Number one, it poses the creation of an entity, not an application, not some type of a device, not a virus, not a cancer, by the way, virus is not a human substance. It's not a human entity. It's not human. It's not human. It's not living. Pardon me. Of course, it's not human. It poses and it represents the ability to create what in essence is the genius of humanity, or the genius of sentient, sapient life, without the accoutrement of limbs and weight and feeding and respiration and reproduction and living space and disease and old age. No. It's brute, raw, nuclear superintelligence contained somewhere, vesseled somewhere, whose goal, whose natural tendencies, is it enmity, is it pathology, is unknown, who can write its own code, recursive self-improvement. Dear God, writes its own code. The 800-pound gorilla with a 300 IQ that can replicate itself indefinitely. And none of that was even remotely even possible until now. And nobody is asking any questions. And guess what? It's too late.